Hey guys, I'm going to be in this video talking about the new core set and giving my thoughts. I happen to have a whole nother video where I talk about all the cards we're leaving standard from the that weren't the normal rotation stuff, the stuff that would normally be in Hall of Fame, but is just leaving. But I wanted to talk about the new core set and where the cards that are coming back, new cards completely, and especially talk about the new cards and talk about what I think they will affect, if they're just bad, if they're generally useful. So first of all, we still have the powerful Battle Fiend and the good cycling of Crimson Sigil Runner. These are two really good one drops, though Crimson Sigil Runner not as good for the tempo decks, but good for just general cycle decks. We think OTK-DH. Think about decks that want to draw through their deck quickly. Chaos Strike, just a very useful card for Demon Hunter. Takes no card value, but gets that +2 attack. Visa Stoles staying in as well. And this is the first new card. We've got the Corvus Bloodthorn. After you play a card with Outcast, return this to your hand. I think this is actually quite good. You could say one you can use as a pen flinger with lifesteal often, which I think is quite valuable. And I think another thing is just a 2/2 charge lifesteal. It's just pretty good. The kind of stuff that in the same realm, 2-mana charges, are usually less statted than this, don't have lifesteal, and don't have the ability to bounce back to your hand. So this overall just very I think this is going to fit into a lot of Demon Hunter decks. I'm not exactly sure what, but I think it's just kind of an overall strong card with good overall synergy with the class. So I think this is quite the strong card. Oh yeah, I'm gonna use the same very simple. We're gonna go with insane on this one. We're gonna insane, solid, and garbage for the new cards in this. So I like to keep it simple because it just especially without, this is not the new expansion, but it is the new core set. So same Sightless Watcher has seen play, generally useful, not currently seeing play. Spectral Sight, very solid card. Warblades, already been nerfed, very, very strong card, staying in. So some of this token Demon Hunter, I-Beam, the lifesteal stuff. This is a new card. Outcast, give your hero +3 attack this turn. I think this is quite good. I could see it fitting in lots of low curve Demon Hunter decks because it's just efficient mana for the cost and develops a 3/2. So it's just good enough. I don't think it's broken. But I think it's good. So I think I'm going to go with this card as solid. Not insane, but not bad. Ashtongue Battlelord staying in. Fell Scream for combos. Chaos Nova, nice for control decks. This doesn't see play with most control decks, but if Morgue Artificer, I believe it stays around for another year, but if Morgue Artificer rotates when it does, this card might become more useful. And Warglave's coming back, but with one less charge. And I think without Twin Slice will be leaving. But without Twin Slice, this won't be nearly as good, but it's still going to be, I think, going to see play. So solid. And then, this is the new card where Rush, after your hero attacks an enemy, this attacks it too. And this is really interesting where you can use this, you can rush it on a minion, you could use it to then hero power and trade off another minion. You can also use it to hit face. So for 9 mana, it's kind of like a mini King Crush, but better. And it is a demon, so it could have a big demon synergy. I don't think this is anything crazy, but with the right synergies, maybe you cheat it out, maybe you just play it to as a finisher. I could see this definitely seeing play, so I'm gonna go with this as solid. So let's go to the Druid class. Innervate staying in, Pounce. This is now a core card. Originally, I believe it was a certain expansion, so Druid always has kind of a mini backstab. Enchanted Raven. This is kind of just having another solid one-drop that Druid can always use, will always make their token kind of more aggressive strategies a little bit more viable. Mark of the Wild. +2/+3 health. This might actually see play now. It was garbage before. Now it's pretty close. Probably garbage, but it might be good enough to see play. hard to say. You can see that they've adjusted this to the current power level of the game, where +2/+2. Think that, you know, with taunt is just garbage. But this might see play, especially with other synergies. So Power of the Wild staying in, so already sees play. This card, I'm surprised it's staying in. This card is bad as is, and I expect to stay bad, but I guess you can use it to gain 8 armor, and that might be better than Healing Touch. This is interesting. Landscaping stay in, so Blizzard's kind of saying we want Druid to always have that Treant synergy going around. Wild Growth staying in. This card I thought was a new card. Battlecry. Next spell you cast this turn costs 3 less. I think on 4, this isn't that great, but it's not bad because you can use it. Like, let's say you're playing a more aggressive matchup. Somebody does, you can play this while playing something like a 2-mana spell, like Wrath. Wrath might actually be rotating. I don't remember, but it's just very efficient. And don't underestimate mana cheating. This doesn't cheat the cost of this card, but it does cheat the cost of other cards. So, maybe you have to go Wrath on 2 on something, and then you go coin this and play a Wild Growth. Lots of stuff you could do like this. So you can, get a little bit more tempo in the early game, because Druid can definitely struggle once it falls behind on board, because it doesn't have the board clears, the powerful board clears of other classes, things like Brawl, things like Nether. So yeah. So the Forest token Druid staying in. And I'll mention this next year, but Savage Roar is rotating. It's not going to be in the core set, so they'll have to give new burst stuff. So, but they're giving a lot of the board token synergy, but not as much of the burst token synergy. So it'll be interesting to see how Token Druid does without the Savage Roar. Druid of the Claw, 5/4 with Rush or 5/6 with Taunt. Quite frankly, I think this is sort of a new change to the card. It has more stats, and I'm going to go with this as utter garbage. Rush is just so much worse than Charge, and the 5/4 makes it so it like a 5-mana 5/4 with Rush. I want you to think about this compared to Restless Mummy or compared to Militia Commander. It's just so freaking bad. Like this card is so bad. This is garbage. Will never ever see play, unless you have a deck that's, hey, if you choose one. You have a choose one card that transforms into a 5-attack minion, gain 10. Like, you have to have something stupid. It wouldn't. This card wouldn't be even see play in the Druid with the quest down. It wouldn't even be good. Like, oh, I can get a 5/6 Rush. At least you could get a 4/6 Charge for a while. This is just such a bad card now. It should realistically be less mana or something. It's just so bad. I'm ranting. Force of Nature. With the Treant Synergy, not anything great, but able to stay in the game with the Treant Synergy. Menargerie Warden, choose a friendly beast. This card seems bad until beasts become awesome. Beast Druid becomes awesome, and then all of a sudden it's good. People run Faceless in decks, so this would be a deck where you have a bunch of beasts you want to copy. This would be good enough. Hasn't quite seen play yet, but I think we'll eventually see play if the game. Nourish staying in. Agent of War staying in, but not buffed at all. Still garbage. Cenarius, give your enemies +2/+2, or get 7/2 Transform. The 9/8 is a big deal. I think it's a nice buff, especially now that Savage Roar won't be a thing. I think this card could definitely see play as a finisher and just as a powerful play in general. So I think this card will definitely see play. Nice upgrade to the card. All right, let's go. We got Hunter now. Got Arcane Shot, same. We got Lock and Load, which is the coming back from Wild. Each time you cast a spell this turn, add a random Hunter card to your hand. And I think it was 2 mana before, so it's gone down in 1 mana. So each time you cast a spell, generally the Hunter doesn't really work with these value archetypes, but having a value generating card can be good. But I don't think it would work with Hunter. That being said, maybe somebody can figure out something. You also can have the facts of stuff like the World Kick Master effect, where World Kick Master was a bad card until it happened to be that there was a whole bunch of broken combo cards, where we got Brain Freeze and we got Prize Plunder and we got Wand Thief, and all of a sudden World Kick Master wasn't a really good card. This could be something like that, where it's mostly bad until it's good. but I'm going to say mostly garbage here. Tracking. Discover a card from your deck. And I think this is really interesting change. It's not necessarily bad or good. I think people saying, oh, this is better because you don't lose the card. But people underestimate. One hunter usually is not a fatigue class. So the getting rid of the 2 cards can actually be a benefit. It can, because effectively you know what cards are at the bottom of your deck, where you could discover can be good with some really powerful cards you'd like to play twice in longer games. But realistically, the deck thing can actually be a strong benefit of tracking. I think the beginners will look at this, and the beginners when they play tracking are really afraid of losing cards. But I think this might actually be a nerf. I think this will be better for late game value hunter decks. Yeah, we've heard a lot of those lately. Every hunter deck is Hearthstone. It's plays things 1 through 8, curve out. Maybe, certain hunter decks will be able to make it work, but I say this card is in current hunter archetypes significantly worse. Though it's not objectively worse. I think it might open the way for different hunter archetypes where this is a little bit better. But that being said, I think this is actually generally a nerf, surprisingly. Web Spinner, Death Rattle, add a random beast to your hand. I think this is real bad. Because compare this to Pharaoh Cat. Now, it does have the beast energy, but I know this comes back in Wild. I do. I think it sees play in crappy hunter decks in Wild, but when I compare it to the current power strength of 1-drops where you have Battle Cry, 1/2. If this were a 1/2, but this is a 1/1, add a random beast to your hand. I think compared to things like Pharaoh Cat, like I said, and someone's got to lead the charge. I can't remember his name. He's sword. He's on the thing, but the pirate one that generates random pirate. This seems weaker, so I don't think it'll see much play. Explosive Trap, still a good secret hanging in there. A lot of the secrets. Oh, I thought this one was interesting. Headhunter's Hatchet coming back into the Hunter set if you control beasts. So Hunter's core set is getting a lot more beast synergy. Sorry. So, oof, with the cough. Hunters, I need to get some water. Hunters set is getting a lot more beast energy, so I expect to see beast cards this year for the core set. But I believe the 3-mana weapon for Hunter is rotating for secrets, so they want to give Hunter a more stable weapon, and this is kind of the new card that it works. But this card barely saw play in beast decks before. It was never that good, so I don't think this card will be that useful. Quick Shot coming back. It is burn, but so this sees play in some Wild, so I could see the seeing play again. Savaging Haida with the right beast decks has been a card that people called for nerfs before. Sees 0 play right now. Very synergy dependent, but definitely a strong card. Selective Breeder. Discover a copy of a beast in your deck. This is another thing where it's like, okay, you do discover, and I think they had the 3/3, and I think Dire Frenzy is actually coming back into standard, so this does have synergy with Dire Standard. So this can be good, I think, with really high value beasts, but for the stats, for the cost, is really inefficient. So, with the right synergies, could definitely see play, but not good enough to just shove in any deck with beasts in general, in my opinion. Snake Trap, another secret, staying in. Bear Shark, I had a buddy who loves this card. We'll see. Sort of the thing is, though, a lot more cards like Prize Plunderer are out there. And they can target, because they're battle cries, they can still kill this. So this card probably not nearly as good as it was because there's so many battle cries that destroy minions. That being said, in the right meta, I could definitely see this thing play. Deadly Shot staying in play. Dire Frenzy, like I said, coming back. A card that the statisticians always say is bad, but the players who love Hunter always say it's good. Savannah Highmane staying in, and King Crush staying in. So for Mage, we got Babbling Book coming in, and this is kind of the more value style. Battle Cry, add a spell. This definitely saw play before, but it did come back for a while and barely saw play, so I don't think it's going to be that impactful. But, maybe it becomes a deck where it's just a Mage deck that really needs a 1-drop. Right now, Mage decks just haven't been running 1-drops lately because they're just not that useful. I kind of wish this would have more stats or something like that, but I guess they want those cards to be stuff for the sets. So Shooting Star coming back into play. This card's really good probably with the current spell damage stuff. Snap Freeze coming in play. I mean, this card's so bad. But, it is now at 1 mana, so maybe at 1 mana it's good enough. Archaeologist, draw a secret coming back into play. I find it interesting that this card's coming back into play because heads up, the 3 mana 4/3 is coming out of play. So they're removing some of it seems like some of the mana cheating of secrets, but they're bringing back some of the card draw secrets. So Fallen Hero, I think your hero deals an extra 1 damage. We see the 3 mana 2/5. That seems a lot better than this. That your hero power does an extra 2 damage. Barely sees play, so I don't expect to see any play. Arcane Intellect, a staple of the mage class for a long time. Cone of Cold, getting a nerf down to 3 mana and dealing 1 damage to it. And I believe Frost Nova is rotating as well. So because of that, they're making this 3 mana. I still think this is not nearly as good as Frost Nova. It does deal the 1 damage, but I think this is a bad card. I think the Mage Freestyle Blizzard, I believe, is rotating as well. The Mage Freestyle will be much worse or not existent anymore. But I think giant boards of minions are happening a lot less too currently. So maybe Blizzard wants minions in board to be more able to work better. I'm not sure. Counterspell staying in play. Ice Barrier. A lot of these classic secrets. Fireball. I believe Frostbolt moving place. A lot of the freeze effects. But Water Elemental, the freeze any character staying in play. This Agawan the Guardian, spell damage +2. The next minion you draw inherits this power. So if you have a lot of spell damage synergy, that being said, spell damage current builds don't really want to run a 5 mana card that's not a great stats on board and can still be beat by silence. So I'm gonna go. I've thought about it, and it's not stats, and so I just don't think this is very good. So I'm going to go with garbage. I'm going to say this sees no play. It's replacing Archmage Antonidas, I believe, as the Mage Legendary, and I think it's real bad. Ethereal Conjurer, Battlecry, Discover Spell, decent arena card. Sometimes these cards see play, not at 5 mana, but Volpera sees play, and that's a 3 mana 3/2. So, I could see a mage deck that really wants to generate a lot of value, kind of running a card like this. It's good stats for the effect. Koldar Drake, you can use your hero power any number of times. Interesting to see this back. Usually you need some sort of weird broken hero power synergy to make this work, but but who knows? There's definitely been interesting decks building ideas that you can do with this card. Flame Strike, getting a buff, deal 5 damage to all enemy minions. You might be just running in hard in your deck. It saw play at 4. It's going to see play at 5. How often, we're not sure, but definitely a solid card. Avenge, when one of your minions dies, give a friendly minion. Okay, sorry. We are at Paladin now. Avenge, this is coming back. This is a solid secret. Paladin secret shouldn't suck unless there's a way to cheat them out, but this is a solid secret. Noble Sacrifice, same thing, only plays with really good secret synergy, always one of the choice secrets for Paladin when you're randomly generating it. Reckoning, after enemy hero, after any minion deals 3 or more damage, destroy it. I think this is a new one. I'm trying to see which class it came from, but I don't think I've seen this card. Interesting. This is interesting that it only targets the big minions. So, like I said, I don't think these cards are pretty easy to play around. But I guess if you only have big minions, the only way you can really play around is by not attacking with them. So, actually, that's quite hard to beat kill around. But you will get the damage, but still, could definitely be good because it will never target the little minions. So that's kind of nice. Righteous Protector. This card is always very solid. It's annoying to get through 1/1 Divine Shield taunts. It can trade effectively into other 1-drops. Very good card. We'll definitely see play. Argent Protector, getting a buff to a 3/2. This saw play an even Paladin at its old stats, so not that great, but I could definitely see play in the right deck that just kind of needs that kind of thing. Holy Light, restore 8 to your hero. Probably not going to see him play in most decks, but it is very efficient for the cost. Big. I don't know if it's buff Zephyr in Wild, but definitely a very efficient. So I think it could definitely see play, except for the fact that I think if Paladin can overcome it's sort of control, Paladin can overcome its more value stuff. But I think this card, good enough definitely to see play in a deck. Pursuit of Justice. Give +1 attack to Silverhand recruits. You summon this game. These cards are barely seeing play. I want to say garbage, but Silverhand recruits. You play 2 of these and you have a bunch of 3/1s. That might be, like if you have enough synergy, this will become good enough. But it's not good enough, I would say, to make Dude Paladin a thing again on its own for sure. I'm curious to see if this will see play in Even Paladin in Wild. I've wanted to make Even Paladin decks in Wild. I've done some stuff. I really love the archetype. It was my first #1 Legend deck, so maybe I'll try this in Wild. I'm not sure if you can play this in Wild because it's core set, but definitely want to try it out. Aldor Peacekeeper barely sees play, but sometimes sees play. Staying in. Equality nerfed to 3 or brought back to 3 mana. Now we don't have to worry about Odd Paladin. 2 mana, way too cheap. 4 mana, too expensive. 3 mana, just right. Let's hope. Warhorse Trainer. Silverhand recruits at +1 attack. This card's very good. This already sees play in Odd Paladin in Wild. I expect it to see play if Dude Paladin is thing for sure in any Dude Paladin deck. Blessing of Kings sees play, good card. Not in every deck, but we'll see play. Consecration, good. True Silver staying in. Stand Against Darkness coming back. This has seen play in past Dude Paladin. So if Dude Paladin is a thing, and by Dude Paladin it's the 1/1s from Paladin. I believe that's the nickname for it. This will definitely see play. Guardian of Kings. This got 1+ health and taunt. Definitely a needed buff to the card because as a 5/6 restore 6, it was pretty bad. This makes it a lot better. I could see it seeing play. That being said, compared to the rest of the power level of the game, probably not good enough. But maybe especially in the beginning of the year where there's not enough cards, I could see it filling in a gap. And it looks like Tyrion is staying in. I thought Tyrion was rotating. I need to go check that, but let's wait. Let's see. Tyrion, 5/3 Ashford. I guess the Tyrion is not rotating. I got to go check that. Obviously, this card has seen a lot of play, or at least enough play. But more from Zephyr. So I thought this was rotating, but that's interesting. Okay, we got Priest, Crimson Clergy. After a friendly character is healed, gain +1 attack. The big problem with Priest decks is they can't afford to have 1-drops. Because they can't afford losing the value. Cleric of Scales and Disciple run it, but in they post Priest never draws. These cards just don't work. Priest can't. Oh my God, they're gonna have +1 attack. Oh no, for healing a friendly character. We're definitely gonna be able to finish a game with this. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and put this card as garbage. It's a new card, but I can see never play. Flash Heal has seen play with the right synergies. Not generally good, but with the right synergies. Focused Will, silence a minion to give it +3/1 health. I think there's some self-silencing stuff that's coming into play. So, those archetypes are never quite good, but I could see this seeing play in that archetype. Maybe somebody can make it work. Holy Smite staying in there. Psychic Conjure staying in there. Cool Tyrion Chaplain, give a friendly minion +2 health. Staying in there. Shadow over Death, staying in there. Shadow Form, your hero power becomes deal 2 damage. And people are saying, oh, you can't even do it twice. And I think here's where Shadow Form is going to be useful. You're going to generate it randomly because that's what Priest does. And then you're just going to use it and you're going to chill. You're going to play control and you're just going to ping off one thing a turn. I think this is actually, people are really underestimating this card coming back because you can use it either to control, you can use it the way Warrior uses Galakron, where they just have that additional +3 attack in Bomb Warrior to kind of close out games to get that additional damage. So I could definitely see this seeing play. It's just good enough. and the 3 mana to 2 mana makes it a lot easier to pull off in the early game. So I think people are underestimating this card. I think it's definitely solid. I think people are saying, "Oh, Shadow Priest is garbage," and this isn't enough to carry. It's not Shadow Reaper Anduin by any means, where you can do it over and over again. But I think this might be enough, especially you generate from Renew, and then all of a sudden you can just start pinging things. So maybe this won't see play in decks, but I think it's probably an improvement on the class. Thrive in the Shadows. Discover a spell from your deck. So this is, I believe, I'm blanking on the card, but this is a copy of an old card, I believe, where you discover a spell from your deck, but I believe it doesn't draw it. I don't think. Maybe I need to look into that, but I think it's the Priest, especially the Control, you go into Fatigue more, and you can get multiple copies of broken cards. If you're playing Control Priest back in the day, you get 4 Mind Blast, or you get 4 Psychic Screams, and you would just Psychic Scream over and over again, or Mind Blast over and again. So I expect this to see play. Light Spawn, 3 mana, always equal to its health. It starts off with a 3 mana 4/4. A lot better at 3 mana, because 3 drops are just generally more useful. Do I still think it will see play? No, but I think it's a nice little improvement. Shadowed Spirit, Death Rattle, deal 3 damage to the enemy hero. This is actually, if Priest can find an aggressive archetype, which good luck with that. But with the Death Rattle, the Priest does historically have a lot of Death Rattle synergies, so maybe it pulls off something where it does a big Death Rattle play and revives them. Something like that could definitely be interesting. I think Barren, or the guy that double triggers your Death Rattles, is coming back. So maybe something can pull it off. This is definitely playable, but probably won't see play. But it's more about like this card or Hunter card would be insane. So it's a thing of, can Priest make this card work? Holy Nova staying in play, sees play, good card. Power Infusion, Shadowwood Ruin in the right meta, quite good. Temple Forcers, ever favors card. Nano Celine, a great discover, a horrible card to put in your deck. All right, and we're to Rogue. Backstab staying in play. Prep staying in play. Very good cards. Shadow Step staying in play. But I believe Edwin is leaving, and Lackey, so a lot of that stuff is going to be a lot worse for Rogue. Bladed Cultist, I don't know if this is good enough. Like, in the world where comboing on 1 is really annoying, so pretty bad as a 1-drop. So we'll see. But this might make World Kick Master a lot better. So maybe because of World Kick Master, I could definitely see this thing play. Deadly Poison staying in play. Sinister Strike staying in play. Swashbuckler, but it's been buffed, and a random class from another class to your hand, so you can always rely on getting activators. Cold Blood staying in play. Still seeing playing at 2 mana. Patient Assassin getting a +1 health. Big buff. Maybe. Probably the biggest thing is it doesn't die to 1 damage AoEs. So because it usually will be dying to trades, but that can make a big difference. So maybe sees play now. Vanessa Van Cleef. Combo add a copy of the last card your opponent played to your hand. Really interesting card. Well, the fact that you can steal the last card they played might make for some interesting, order picks. Interesting, you can steal a win condition, stuff like that. So could definitely will see play in my opinion, but will it be? I don't think it's broken, but I think I'm just gonna go with solid on this card. Not insane, but solid. Plague Scientist coming back. Saw play in the right metas, but not generally good. SI7 Agent staying around. Assassin's Blade, 4 mana, not nearly as bad as it used to be. Assassinate, destroy an enemy minion. This is actually quite good, I think. Walk the Plank saw play, and that was destroy an undamaged, and this is any enemy minion. So going with the trend of single target removal, just getting better and better. So this is quite good. But in the world of Hearthstone in 2021, will it see play? This literally would have absolutely seen play, because there were cards that were just objectively worse 2 years ago seeing play. So I think it will probably see play, but who knows? Tomb Pillager, add a coin to your hand. I'm not really sure. Usually you run these cards for cards that really value coins for this. So good stats for the cost, so definitely could see play. Sprint, finally down to 6 mana. Preparation isn't what it used to be. Maybe sees play. we'll see. We'll see how Rogue works in 2021. Rogue has had such an insanely cheap draw that this card has been garbage, garbage, garbage. But maybe Rogue will not have the insane draw it used to, that this might be needed. Who knows? All right, we got Shaman. Lightning Bolt. Deal 3 damage. Overload 1. Staying the same. We got Novice Zapper. Spell damage. Overload. This card looks really good. You know, it's aggressive. It's spell damage. Kind of works with the idea. You know, it's like Flame Imp, but instead of damaging your face, you take 1 mana damage. But this card I think is really good. So I feel like this will definitely see play. I'm going to go with Insane. Powerful 1-drop. Spell damage. Oh no, you can't go hero power next turn. Big deal. Very good card in my opinion. Menacing Nimbus. This saw play occasionally, but I think in the right. But I never thought it was quite good. So, but might fill in. If you really need elemental synergies or value, maybe it sees play. But I think it's mostly garbage. Rockbiter weapons staying around. Wind Fury staying around. Oh, wait 1 second. Let's go back to Shaman. Okay, for some reason I thought it said give a Mega Wind Fury. I thought I got a buff for a second, but it did not. Pharaoh Spirits, Overload 1, that's definitely a good change. A 5 mana 2/2/3 taunts, just not cutting it in Hearthstone 21. So the Overload 1, a nice change. And this one I really liked. Deal 3 damage to all minions, 2/3. I hated that. I hated the uncertainty. And on top of your Overload, it was just utter trash. But it was often Shaman needed it to get it. But now at 3, I think it's a lot more viable. So I'm a big fan of making it always 3. I hated the uncertainty. So this card will make control archetypes, because often control can't afford to miss out on these 50/50s. Missing out if you have, if I miss out on 2 50/50s, one of 2 50/50s in a game, and I just lose because I didn't kill the Requesting Explorer or something, that's a class that will not work. So this is definitely a nice change, a nice little buff. Mana Tide Totem sticking around. Unbound Elemental. I think this is becoming. I think this is becoming core. This saw some play, not that much, but Dracani Totem card, getting +1/+1 for friendly totem, and I believe it's getting +1 health even. So this is a really, really good card in Even Shaman, but that even decks do not work in Standard. But that being said, the right totems, I could definitely see the same play. It's good in Wild, but it depends. Totem Shaman is generally garbage, so this obviously will depend on the strength of other cards more than it's on its own strength. Hex is sticking around. Tidal Surge, Lifesteal, deal 4 damage to a minion. This card is really bad in my opinion. It's just like not efficient enough. I think both Penance for Priest and I believe Warlock got their own Penance from an old set buffed. This card seems so bad. I'm gonna go with garbage. It's coming back, but I gotta give the garbage ranking where it deserves. So inefficient. Doomhammer hanging around. Earth Elemental hanging around. Fire Elemental got a nice little buff to 4 damage. Maybe see some more play. Akir is hanging around, but 6 life. Interesting. So we'll see if that makes a big difference. I'm not sure. Not seeing much play now, but maybe in the right deck that little health makes a big difference. Who knows? All right, and we got Warlock. Ritual of Doom. Destroy a friendly minion. If you had 5 or more, summon a 5/5 demon. I think people are too concerned with the 5 or more, and they're forgetting about Warlock likes to kill their own minions sometimes. Think about Q block. So I think this card might, in the right synergy, this is a card that won't see play that much until a deck comes out that they want to kill their own stuff. So definitely a card that could definitely see play, even though it's not that strong, but it just kind of has nice synergies with things. Flame Imp hanging around. Mortal Coil hanging around. Possessed Villager coming back. Drain Soul, I like this. It's basically Penance. I mean, it is Penance, so coming around should be a nice card that you can use to heal as a Warlock, which makes a big difference. Tiny Knight of Evil with big discard synergy. This card is very, very good in Wild. Not sure. So maybe the sees play in Standard. I believe that Warlock is actually getting a lot of discard synergy coming back. Void Terror making a 3/4. This card was pretty much garbage except for Mimi stuff at 3/3. So maybe at 3/4 it's good enough to see play. Fiendish Circle, mostly garbage, but sometimes you just need that synergy. So I think there have been decks that have run this before, but generally garbage. Maybe I'm wrong there. It's probably Hellfire hanging in there. Lakari Fellhound coming back, but now it's this card, your 2 lowest cost cards. So I think this could actually be, you can use it in a deck with Hand of Ludan and just use it another way to discard Hand of Ludan, and the 2 cards might make it easier sometimes. So a card that I think could definitely see play, but I'm not sure in the right deck which deck it will be see play in, but definitely a card that could see play. You could even use this, also with the 2 mana card that summons 2 2/1s, the egg. So that's another natural synergy. So you could have, maybe a little more discard synergy and build a deck around that. I could definitely see that with the new core set. Felsaw Jailer, your opponent discards a minion. Death Rattle, return it. So really interesting. I wonder if people are going to silence their own card. Just an interesting card. I don't know how I feel about this. It could definitely be really annoying, and it's interesting. I'm wondering what how this card will work. But just a very interesting card for sure. I'm not sure. I'm gonna go with solid just because I'm not sure and I'm curious. Siphon Soul going down to 5 mana in the world of broken single target removal. This is the right change. 6 mana, just way too weak. Dread Infernal hanging around. Oh. No, not again. Let's go back to Dread Infernal. Enslave Fellord. Taunt also damages the minions next to him, whoever it attacks. This attacks. So basically, the splash, will it be good enough? I don't know, but it is a demon, so maybe cheating demon synergies can make it good. It's got a lot of health, so maybe in the right control deck, it can see play. Probably not. Twisting Netter hanging in there. And Lord Draxus. Battlecry, equip a 3/8 Blood Fury. It now doesn't force you to go to 15 health. Such a nice change. I definitely could see Lord Draxus now being a win condition for Warlock that's actually viable. And I think not only that, burst is getting better. So now you can put Lord Draxus as your late game. And, I think the Lord Draxus hero power is going to do a lot better than, for example, Priest Galakrond. Just so much more efficient. So I think this will put Control Warlock on the map. A really big change. The weapon alone is enough to win the game over a long time. So Lord Jaraxxus is kind of inevitability. So if the control tools are really strong for Warlock, the problem is, in the current meta, I still don't think this will see play because you would just die to OKTA Demon Hunter. Or you would die to ETC Warrior, or you die to Bomb Warrior. But that being said, I definitely think this will eventually see play. It's just, a nice hero card for the right deck. All right, next we got Warrior. Battlecry, the next weapon you play, costs 1 less. Pirate, I believe we're losing Ankar, but, I could definitely see this seeing play for a very aggressive Warrior deck. Shield Slam hanging in there, but I believe Shield Block is not. So I think this card's actually got nerfed effectively because Shield Block has such a nice synergy with it. Something to note. So definitely getting a lot worse, even though the card's staying the same. Whirlwind hanging in there. Armor Smith hanging in there. Cruel Taskmaster hanging in there. Execute hanging in there. Slam hanging in there. Fury Warlock hanging in there. These are all cards that have Frothing Berserker hanging in there. These are all cards that have seen play, but seem broken sometimes and seem, not anything impressive. Remember, Armor Smith is losing Risky Skipper, so this card will be not nearly as good, but, Armor finds a way. So, War Cache. This is very add a random warrior minion and spell and weapon card to your hand. This is very similar to Hunter's Pack. Hunter's Pack was never quite good enough. It did see play, so we'll go with solid, but it's borderline garbage, but it's not quite garbage. Warsong Commander, after you summon another minion, give it rush. I heard something along the lines of, this is a 3-mana broom. So I thought this was interesting. Basically saying, realistically, this is garbage, even though, it's better than the current version. So I don't think this will see play, but maybe if you really need that rush energy. So Warsong Outrider, 4 mana, 5/4 rush. Some of these standard rush cards are so bad. When you compare this to Restless Mummy, when you compare this to Militia Commander, just the power level of this card compared to other rush minions, it's just so bad. I'm not going to ever play this card, I don't think, unless I have a card deck that says play 5 rush minions, complete a quest. Like, that's the only reason I've run this card. So, I guess technically decent stats, good arena card, but in the world of Hearthstone in 2021, will this see play? No. Brawl, destroy all minions is a staple of the warrior class. Shield Maiden, gain 5 armor. Interesting. I don't think this saw much play in Wild or when it was around, but who knows? But yeah. So we'll see. Gore Hall, card that used to be good, is not good anymore. I don't expect it to be good, but it's hanging in there. And Grom, a card that's very good right now, so hanging in there. All right, we got Wild, we got Murloc Tasty Fin. I think that's the only, I think that's the only 0 drop. So interesting. We're losing Wisp, I believe, and the other one. So Abusive Sergeant hanging in there. Arcane Anomaly coming back. Argent Squire hanging in there. Cogmaster hanging in there. Elven Archer hanging in there. I expect this to see a ton of play while Penflinger's around. No. Murloc Tidecaller hanging in there. Stormboy Sport, now Rush. Charge, be gone. Blizzard hates Charge. Blizzard loves Rush. So boring. Voodoo Doctor hanging in there. This has seen play before, so could see play again. Worgen Infiltrator already seeing play right now. Young Priestess. Ooze. We got J. Alexander's favorite card. Definitely will see play. Annoyotron. Ooh. This card has been good in the past. Coming back. Blood Mage Thanos. A staple. Blood Sail Raider hanging. This, another charge minion, low mana charge minion, gone. Get out of here. Charge is only for Demon Hunter. Now you know. So it's a rush minion now, not for anybody. Crazed Alchemist hanging in there, but I believe Doomsayer is gone, so you can't Crazed Alchemist the Doomsayer. Direwolf hanging in there. Explosive Sheep coming back. I think this is actually a big one to come back because it just kind of gives a neutral board clear for classes that don't have good board clears. So I could definitely see seeing play in the right decks for sure, especially with Doomsayer gone. Fog Sail, Freebooter, Battlecry if you have a weapon equipped, deal 2 damage. Interesting. You'd have to love really consistent Battlecry, but it's awkward for Rogue, but Rogue might see it. So it's awkward because you can't play this on 2 very well with the effect, and it's understated. So I'm going to go with garbage, but who knows, So maybe it's playable. Coldwood Geomancer doesn't even play in spell damage decks. Loot Hoarder. Mad Bomber hanging in there. Murloc. Ruby Egg. I'm excited about this one. Because I know, guys know I love the egg decks. This card is just pretty much better than Serpent Egg. It does have 1 less health, but so basically dies easier, but has 1 more attack. Harder for Priest to stop it. So it's eggs and Terrans still will be a thing next year. So even though Serpent Egg I believe should be rotating, you'll be able to still put eggs in your Terran, which I'm a fan of. River Crocodilus hanging in there. Sunweaver Spy now I believe this was is coming back or the core. So secrets will have that synergy. Toxologist. This was used in like Kingsbane Rogue and stuff. Saw play before, in the current heavy weapons. I definitely see play. Youthful Brewmaster hanging on there. Brightwing, Cold Light Seer, Earthen Farseer, Flesh Eating Ghoul, got a buff. Humongous Razor Leaf coming back. Wow, this card is really bad. Angel Blademaster hanging in there. Ironbeak Owl, Jungle Panther, Mukla hanging in there. Lone Champion. This saw play. Could definitely see play in more control decks that need something to just deny that early tempo. Mini Mage. I saw this card. Thought this card was interesting because it's stealth. So the stealth +1 damage to the right deck might not be able to answer it. But 3 mana is kind of awkward. So I could definitely see seeing no play, but maybe with the right synergy, I could see play because you just has the thing about stealth. It can just always have that spell damage, so it can be against the right class can be a permanent buff. That doesn't have AOE. So very interesting card. Probably won't see much play, but I'm kind of curious about it. Raid leader +3 one attack, 1 health. Big change. Actually, might be a big change. So we'll see. We'll see if it's good enough to make it see play. South Sea Captain hanging in there. Spider Tank, neutral mech 3/4. This card was the most broken arena card ever. Saw some playing some standard cards now in the core. Barren, I think it was at 5 mana before. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm getting confused with Battlegrounds. I might be confused with Battlegrounds, but definitely I'm excited to see this card back in standard. Big Game Hunter, now 4 mana. I agree with this. Like I said, in the world of broken single target removal, you got to keep the single target removal balanced. Chilbin Yeti, the staple. Dark Iron, well, Dwarf coming in there. Argus, 3/3 now. So Zephyr already loved this card, so Zephyr's going to love it even more, even though it's rotating. So maybe good enough to see play. I like this card, so I'm hoping, glad that they're giving just a little bit of a buff on it. Grim Necromancer, never that good of a card. I remember playing this card a lot in Arena, so as I said, an Overtrader. I don't think I've ever seen a deck run this card, but with the incredibly secret heavy meta, could see play. Sage and Shieldmaster, Violet Teacher has seen play. Faceless. This got a buff. Overload Rush. Whenever this attacks, get +1/+1 to all minions in your hand. Ooh, this is interesting. Okay, wow, that's interesting. I don't know what deck this is, but I'm curious about this card to see what kind of decks might use it. I think the problem with this deck, you could use it with a bunch of charged minions, the buffs, and then and then go on all face. But we don't have that anymore. Charge is dead. So yeah, we'll see. But it is quite efficient. It's Rush. Compare this to the 4 mana 5/4 Rush that is just 4 mana. Like this has more health and gives all the minions in your hand +1/+1. So I say this is a very good card. We'll go with Insane. I'm just going with my emotions here, guys. Stranglehold Tiger, barely saw play, but hangs in there. Divine Shield, Taunt, Death Rattle, draw your highest cards minion. This I feel is really good. It tutors out, so you can tutor out a powerful card, a potential win condition. So, the fact that it can tutor out a very high thing, the amount of times, I've run Lore Keeper just to get one card like a Cthulhu. I definitely see this could see play. Karen Bloodhoof got +1 attack. Look at this horrible nerf. Now it's going to get destroyed by Priest. That being said, I don't think this one attack is that helpful, but yeah, this card will be very similar in power strength, I'd say. Auctioneer hanging in there. People are surprised about the Auctioneer staying around, but Blizzard likes this card, and this card enables a lot of decks. So High Inquisitor and White Mane. Now to 6 mana, summon all friendly minions that die this turn. This is a big change. This might make the best with this card on the map because this is really efficient. It's good stats for the cost. The Ogre, think about this, Boulderfist Ogre, which is actually rotating, it only has 1 more attack, and it does not summon all friendly minions that die this turn. So this card, might be really good. So especially when you compare it to Boulderfist Ogre, which is one of the best cards in the game. So yeah, definitely could be really good. Barren, Geddon, going up to 2 more health. In the world of great single target removal, you guys see a theme. I think it's a nice change. It's going to die anyways, but making it a little bit harder to die, I think, is a good thing. Might see more play. Oh, wow, now it's a 5/5. Big change. Probably still bad. Nor's Dormu. Everybody's been asking about this card. If this deck starts in both players' decks, turns are only 15 seconds long. And this might think, oh, just, if you're like, you never have to play this. And this is what could get interesting, where what happens when there's a dragon synergy deck that wants to run as many big dragons as possible becomes broken, and you have to play this deck, and both players are running Nas, and you don't want to. Could be really crazy. Bad for me. as one of the slowest APM players in the business. But honestly, I'm looking forward to playing this card in decks against my friends and out APMing them despite my horrible APM. I think it could be a lot of fun. So I think this card's gonna be a lot of fun. It'll be interesting if they made like Norse Dorma mode too, you know, stuff like that. But a really fun card for sure. And I like that it's both players. So it's like both players agree to do this crazy crap, you know? Storm Watcher, barely saw play, but maybe for some Wind Fury synergies. Storm and Champion, I believe this was +1/+1 at 6 mana. No. I think this was a 6/6 before, a 7/7 now. It's reflecting the power creep. But yeah, has seen play before, I believe, in Odd Paladin, so definitely could see play, but not that great. 4/8. Whenever you cast a spell, gain +2/+2. This card was absolutely garbage at 5/5, but at 8 mana, you know, like you stick this and then you use it as a crazy lethal. I don't think this is still very good, but who knows? Like now it's actually playable. So it went from just utter garbage to something that is actually very threatening. I play this down, your opponent doesn't have an answer. Bam, 20 to the face, 30 to the face. So playable now, I'd say. And we got the big dragons. We got Alexstrasza. Choose a friendly character if it's choose a character if it's friendly. Restore 8. If it's an enemy, deal 8. So this makes the high rolls not as big, but the low rolls much better. So one, you can use this to finish somebody. You get them down to 8 health, and you could just deal 8. Two, but you can't. I think what this card doesn't allow you to do is just never do any damage to their face, and then all of a sudden put them down to 15. So it's a thing of, yeah, in the high roll situation, but so it's a big thing for deck building because certain decks run Alexstrasza and they don't really put any aggression on, and then all of a sudden your opponent lapses for one turn, you go Alex on their face, and all of a sudden if they can't lethal you that turn, they're on the defensive. This kind of makes it a little less swingy. So I think it's still a decent card. So I definitely think we'll see play, but not as good in certain decks as it was before for sure. Malygos the Spellweaver, no longer +5 spam with spell damage. It's a sad day for Malygos, but draw spells until your hand is full. So this is really interesting because you can tutor it out with the 5 mana guy that we were talking about, or Lore Keeper, which is hanging around, I believe. And then you can use it to draw a full hand. So maybe certain decks that have horrible card draw will run this. I'm not sure. It's interesting. Definitely has some creative deck building potential. You could draw. You could have a combo deck. Play this. Draw all your combo all at once, and then kill them the next turn. So definitely an interesting card. And I think where they're going with these battle cries on these is reflecting the current state of Hearthstone, where single target removal is so good that powerful minions just don't hang around. So making a battle cry makes it a little more useful in that way. Onyxia, the Broodmother. At the end of your turn, fill your board with 1/1 whelps. So this is just objectively better. I think Onyxia barely saw any play. I kind of like the new artwork. I think it looks pretty cool. Shuma has seen play. Cards of this, so 9 mana, very big. But I could definitely see it seeing play. Probably not in Hearthstone in 2021, but you never know. Sleepy Dragon. This I'll play with in dragon cheating decks. So in the right deck could see play, but you pretty much need sort of heavy mana cheating or heavy mana ramp, but did see play before, so could see play again. Ysera the Dreamer. Add 1 of each dream card to your hand. And I believe it doesn't say this here, but this doesn't go face anymore. I believe I heard. So add 1 of each dream card to your hand. This is really strong. Like now you can always get Nightmare. And you can always get Dream. But your opponent knows with this. But these cards are all really good. And, how often does Ysera last for 5 turns? So this can be like so much value on one hand. So, and you could go infinite. I pretty believe. I'm not sure. Let's see. I wonder if Dream got nerfed. I'm missing it. But you could go Ysera and then Dream it to just give yourself lots of value if you really needed it. Not very efficient, but something you could do if you were desperate. Deathwing Destroyer. They knew nobody ever put Deathwing in their deck, so they made it a little more fair. Destroy all other minions, discard a card for each destroyed. So now you can play it, and if your opponent only has 2 minions, you only lose 2 cards. So a little, still if your opponent has a giant board when Deathwing's the best, a little bit worse, but a lot more playable now than the previous version. So I do like this change. And Clockwork Giant coming back and play. I know this saw play in Broken, the Naga Sea Witch deck. I don't think it's seen play in much else, but it's a giant. We're getting less and less giants, so and hand sizes are often a lot. People have a lot more value than they used to. So I could definitely see the seeing play in the right deck, but it's harder to put cards that rely on your opponent's game plan, especially with something like proactive, like an 8/8, than your own game plan. So probably won't see much play, but interesting card to see coming back. So that's what I generally think about, guys, about the core set. I'm going to be making a video after this where I talk about the cards leaving standard and what I think those cards leaving, how it will change the game. But I hope you guys like this. And so feel free to tune in later. We're going to have more of this kind of stuff with the new expansion as well as a full card review. So hope you guys enjoy that and see you around.